Hey guys, Jim here. Time to do another knife ramble video. Just completed one a little while ago and damn it, I forgot how good it felt to do those. So, today's topic is going to be about making a mid-tech knife. You are Mr. fucking popular knife maker. You are so hot that when you put a finger on your ass, it burns off your fingerprint. You are the fucking man. Everybody wants you. So what do? Well, the list for your customs is years and years long, or you've had to close it entirely. That's discouraging to new customers and discouraging to you because, well, that puts a limit, that puts a cap on your financial future. So what do? You look at making either a mid-tech or a full production knife. That way, more people get to own a knife with your name on it based on your original design, and they can appreciate it more because they spent so little in comparison to the custom that maybe they'll carry it more often. Maybe it'll see a little bit more use. It's more widely available. Even if you do a numbered limited edition of 300 or 500, that's a shitload more than you're going to make in an entire year. What do you pump it out? 1, 2 knives a week at a hurried pace? Maybe 3 or 4 working around the clock? Like that night before blade show and you're wiping the sweat off your brow and the blood off your fingers and you look at your bench and go, wow, fucking A, I built 4 knives in 24 hours. Yeah, because you worked 22 of those 24. This is the way to go for a lot of really good makers. But there's a lot of pitfalls to making a production or mid-tech as well, and that's what I'm here to discuss. I had a brief discussion with a manufacturer recently who was making production knives for a custom maker and wanted to get my feedback on the things that I like and things I don't like. Now, I'm not a professional. I don't make knives. I couldn't make knives. Even the most basic of folding knives, there's so much work and knowledge that has to be put in there, and putting in the apprentice hours or self-teaching and going through a lot of materials in which to do so. There's a lot of work there, and I don't have the talent in these 2 hands to do that. But as a consumer, as an educated consumer, I've had a lot of knives go in and out of my hands, and I've learned what I like and what I don't like and what is frustrating. So let's talk about the good and the bad, shall we? Let's start here. One of the things that irks the living shit out of me is that everybody, and I mean almost everybody, putting out either a mid-tech in that $450 to $650 range or a production knife in that $300 to $500 range, all they're doing is simply doing stonewash handles and stonewash blades, to the point where everybody's knives begin to just look the fucking same. It's annoying. It feels cheap to us. Realize that as the consumer, that look feels cheap to us. Even a knife like this was the prototype for the production version of the Quaken by Todd Begg that was manufactured by Riyadh Knives. Even looking at this, you go, well, Jim, whoa, you love that knife, but yet that's breaking your cardinal rule. You got a stone-washed blade and a stone-washed frame. Yeah, but look at all the other work. First off, this was bead blasted and then tumbled, so it's a little bit different. You've got a signature look, nice prominent swedge. You've got a fuller in there that they left polished, by the way. You have all of this milling that's been done throughout the entire frame. Beautiful contrast in those finishes. And by the way, the ones they've done that were anodized in blue and gold, black and gold and whatnot, really intricate work that was done there. So just on that finish, you look at it and go, well, it may be a stonewash finish, but it's unique. It's different than just a plain Jane, almost stonewashed the whole damn thing. Because we know that's the easy out. We know that's the quickest and least expensive way for you to make that knife. That's not appealing to us. Here's another knife where the whole thing is stonewashed, but this is done in the black wash. So Again, just by changing it up a little bit, just like Todd Bagg and David Deng did here, that black look looks really good. Now we're starting to see more of that. But they've skeletonized, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, well, they really have cut away there. They've done incredible milling on the frame. It has custom hardware. So when you look at this knife, it doesn't look like everybody else's. It's a unique design. It's not plain Jane at all. And it's got a great looking finish. Because they did that, it highlights the design nature. It highlights the grinds. You can very plainly see them because of the nature of that finish. So if you're going to make a production or mid-tech knife, for the love of God, don't just stonewash everything. Think of a creative finish. Yes, I know that you have to do something that is efficient, that you can run through fairly quickly, and it's not labor intensive because that increases the cost. We understand that. But here's a great example right here. Here's a knife where the frame is very simply matte finish, bead blasted, and stonewashed on the blade. But yet, all that milling sets it apart. And that takes me to my next section. A lot of guys are just doing very basic milled patterns. They're very wide milled lines, and they're usually just straight lines or something very geometric. There's nothing organic about it. Like you see here on the Rabbit. This is another custom knife factory. And you see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 custom knife factory knives out here. Because I really don't buy production of mid-tech knives, but theirs are so superior in every way that I collect them. I love them. They're incredible values for the money. Here you've got a very organic flow to the milling. And it's all stepped milling, so it goes down a level, down a level, down a level. The fit and finish on these things is phenomenal. And they've done really nice work all the way around. It is not a boring looking knife. Now, you may like it, you may not like it. That's personal taste. But it's not a boring looking knife. It's not a slab side with a simple chamfer around the edges and then toss it in the fucking tumbler and call it a knife. That's what I appreciate. Now, I'm angling right at you guys that are doing that and charging $600 for your knife. These were, oh God, I want to say about $300. Bearing pivot. The blade steel is usually mentioned. There it is right there. S35VN. Wonderfully made all the way around. Good value. Here's another example. Simple, stonewashed frame lock. But it's got a nice onlay of carbon fiber. I don't like the fact that they made the clip reversible because that really takes away from the look, but whatever. More value right there. M390. Super inexpensive knife made to higher quality standards. We realize that this is the, and I never want to use the word cheap because that degrades, I think, the product overall. Everybody's looking for a lesser expensive alternative to your custom, a more readily available knife compared to your custom. Put some thought into your finish work. Do some two-tone finishing. Do some different things. Do some creative milling. Not simple, basic, the same kind of pattern you see from maker to maker to maker. And you just go, ugh, I'm so tired of seeing that. To the point where, even though that's a great knife, it starts to feel cheap to us because it's a rerun, it's a rehash. It's a cookie cutter way of making knives. Here's a company that came out of fucking nowhere. These guys are made in China. It's called We Knives. You know what they do? They're like, you know what? The customer likes to have custom things. They send you an additional set of hardware. So your pivot plate here, your hardware at the back to hold the back spacer in place, the 2 screws for the clip, the pivot, and the hardware that's holding in the lock bar insert. They give you a whole secondary set. For this knife, it comes equipped in the gold anodizing, but they give you a set of purple in case you want to change it out, change shit up a little bit. They give you a unique pattern, beautiful anodizing, a back spacer that you would expect to see on a $1,000 plus custom knife, with the option for a lanyard opening that doesn't detract away from the lines of the knife. A unique grind, a 3-tone finish on the blade. Even the more generic or basic looking version, that is a really nice matte finish. I love the machine marks that they leave all the way around. It's like a chatter line all the way around. A completely different blade finish than the other model. Really well executed. These are under $300. Now again, made in China, labor is less expensive there, I get that. But even if you tacked on $100 and made it just under $400 in the US, custom 3D sculpted titanium friggin' clip, man. Even if that was $400 made in the US, which could be done, that's a far cry from the knives we're seeing for $500, $600, $650, so on and so forth. So this is what I mean. Offer the best bang for the buck and don't get lazy. One of the things that I appreciate about Custom Knife Factory is they're always trying something new. You know, this was really the first time they did an inlay. They did it really, really well, and they did it creatively. It's not just a blob, just a scale sitting there. Then they use it on this side to double as the over travel. They give you a completely custom pivot. Incredible back spacer. You look at this guy here. Look at the way the carbon fiber and the titanium are used together in unison. Again with the custom pivot, custom thumb stud, custom clip, man, custom back spacer, on a knife that's sold in the $300 some odd range. And then here, in the $400 range, a titanium integral with inlays, titanium inlays. That's why these guys are killing it. Is nothing that comes out of these guys is boring. One of the things that I love to see, and Robert Carter was probably the first guy I saw do this. And other makers have followed suit. I don't want to leave anybody out, but if I start naming names, then I'll forget somebody and I'll piss somebody off. But Rob, I think, may have been the first guy to do it when he made his F16 in the midtech. He says, you know what? I'm going to offer this midtech. We're going to put this knife out there. I think it was 4 1/4, if I'm not mistaken, when it launched. And he says, but I tell you what, if you want a custom pivot, if you want custom anodizing, if you want a custom finish on your blade, so on and so forth, list after list. Here's the things that you can check off, and you pay a small amount of money. It increases your overall cost. You spend what you want. And that made everybody happy. John Graham did something else really cool. He was taking his midtechs, taking the blade out, putting Damascus blades in, or putting a funky grind on there, making it a customized midtech, making it special. As we all know, Todd Begg, with the Glimpse 5.5, with actually going all the way back to the Bodega. Now they have a custom shop. You buy a Glimpse, you buy a Bodega, then you say, there's a whole long list of options. different finishes and pimping techniques and all these things that you can do to personalize that knife to yourself. I mean, by the time you're done, if you look at like the Glimpse 5.5 that I have in the black and gold, it has everything that they do. It was a $1,500 knife. But it was custom tailored. It wasn't a run-of-the-mill knife. Not everybody's going to take that option. I love guys like Ed over at Red Horse Knife Works. You start with a basic knife, $400, and they will literally do anything that you want. My last one was $1,500, and every step in between. You can add one little thing. Now it's $450. Then it's $475. Then it's $525, $550, on up and on up for every little thing that you want to change and do. You want a Damascus blade, you want a Damascus backspacer and thumb stud, whatever. That is the key right there. Make the knives efficiently. And let the customer dictate what the price is going to be. Offer that base knife, because that's going to satisfy the vast majority. Somebody's going to want that more basic finish. And they're going to love the fact they saved all that money because they just want the knife. They want your design. But then you're going to have the guys that really want something way out and crazy. Here's a good example. EOS cases released the Orca. They only made 40 of them, but it was a production level knife, not a custom. But they gave you so many custom options, you really, all 40 of us, ended up with a custom knife, basically. Now, I went off the menu, got a few things that they didn't normally do, and don't mind the streaks and fingerprints. It's a satin finish, purple lano, so it's going to show up. There is not another Orca that looks like this. Crazy. But I know it's mine and nobody else's because I was able to choose those options and make it special. And that's fun. Sure, people spend more money to have to do that, but that's okay. That's their choice at that point. Because you gave them the option, hey buddy, you can go the cheap route. But let's step it up a little bit. Let's have a little bit of fun. And they feel closer to you, closer to a custom knife. Now here's the other thing. Now this is the really touchy subject. Blurring the lines between production and mid-tech and custom. I'm not going to name names here, but there are two particular custom makers that offer a mid-tech or offer a production, however you want to name it, that are so close to the customs. And I have held them both side by side, had them in my collection even, and went, this mid-tech is so good, I don't see the need to spend double to triple to own the custom. There are two things at play here. Number one, you're cannibalizing your own sales. You're making that mid-tech so custom. You're not giving a list of options, but you're making it so custom that it's damn near a custom. And that knife that started at let's say $400, and your custom started at $850, that fully customizable version, now that's like $650. That's almost the price of your custom. But it's so close to the custom, nobody needs to spend the money. They're going to save that money. You did too good of a job, and sometimes that happens. You got to back it down a notch. And you've got to make it look a little different. I mean, from left to right, all the mill work was the same bearing system, the same blade steel. Well, I'm sorry, maybe they dropped down to maybe D2 or something, I don't know. But it was so close. That you're like, why would I bother to wait on a wait list and pay extra money to get the custom when I can buy this mid-tech right now and save a few $100? Cannibalizing your own product, bad idea. The second thing is, and this really plays into the mind of the consumer, when they buy that custom, am I really getting a custom from him? Or is he really just making mid-techs and passing them off as custom? Now this is a little bit more of a question with the guys that do a lot of CNC work. The guys, that are making pure handmade knives for customs and then offer a mid-techer production, there's quite the delineation there. But the guys that are making really good custom knives, primarily with CNC, that then put out a mid-tech or a production. I don't want to say production, we'll stick with mid-tech on this one. And they're making it so well and charging so little in comparison that if you pony up for that custom, you wonder to yourself, am I really getting a custom knife? Or are these all coming off the same line? They're putting a nicer grind on the blade. They're putting more work into it, clearly, but am I really getting a custom knife at that point? And this is a big discussion among the collectors right now, and they're worried. And I tell you right now, there is one person that has done that you're paying thousands of dollars for a custom, and in reality you're getting it, not even a mid-tech, you're getting a production knife. That's not a story I'm prepared to tell right now, because that's going to be dropping the drawers on the industry and hurting people in the process. But the way I look at it is that individual is hurting people by watching them spend money and clamoring on the secondary market, paying even more. He knows who he is, and I really hope it comes to a stop. And when I found this out, and yeah, it's as real of a story as it can get, folks. I had to promise I wouldn't say anything in detail because it's going to get them in trouble, because they're the ones doing the work. And I'm not out to expose that right now. Not until they're comfortable and they're damn good and ready. So keep in mind, make your mid-tech or your production as good as you can, as unique as you can. But don't bring it so close to your custom that people go, screw it, why get the custom? It's going to reduce your value in the industry. There is a value to production, a value to mid-tech. It needs to be done for a lot of makers because it's just good business. You just got to be really careful how you execute it. All right, guys, with that, I'm out of here for now. Thank you, as always, for watching the videos, and I will come at you soon with another one.